What is going on, you guys? I am back with another video, and today we're going to take a look at the Transformers Age of the Primes Wreck and Doom Collection Autobot Sandstorm versus Slugslinger. So before we get to the figures, let's go over the packaging. We have a nice big piece of artwork here of Slugslinger versus Sandstorm. This nice mountain space scenery here. You got Sandstorm and Slugslinger. On the top of the box, you have that same shot, but with also the verses. On this side, you got another nice big image of Slugslinger. On this side, Sandstorm. On the back, you have your obligatory product shot of Sandstorm in robot mode, dune buggy mode, helicopter mode. And then for Slugslinger, you've got robot mode, jet mode, and caliburst. So that is it for the box. That's a lot of box stuff. In the box for Sandstorm, you do get his big rifle. I have it here attached to his arm. Hold on. You've got get off. Got his little gun. You've got the cage, and you've got the tow hook and the base for the platform. And then for Slugslinger, you do get his gun, and you get Headmaster. Where do you go? Right here. Headmaster. So, let's take a look at essentially a figure I've already looked at. So here we have Sandstorm. Now done up more in animation accurate colors. I mean, it wasn't that far off from the original. Just a slightly different orange and... yeah, mostly just slightly different orange. And substitute black or gray plastic for black plastic. So here's his dune buggy mode. Not much different from the original. I will not be comparing it to my original one just because my brother now has it and he has it put up. So just note the only difference between that and the original is some slightly darker orange for this part and for these parts. So yeah, otherwise he looks good in this mode. He still has the cage to protect his car engine. Then you've got the platform right here for the rescue cage thing. But yeah, just because here he is with the only vehicle mode character, Slugslinger. So let's get to Slugslinger. Now, this is a character I have not reviewed because Slugslinger was extremely hard to come by during Titan's Return. He was the last figure in the last wave. So, yeah. But you can see here he's done in a nice dark blue because his colors are based on that of the American cartoon from the 4 episodes of The Rebirth. So, the original Titan's Return Slugslinger was a this shade of blue right here. Then Takara went and made it a nicer sky blue, and now they've went with the Rebirth colors. So yeah, and he looks great for that comparison. Here he is with get down here with Titan's Return Trigger Happy. One of my favorite figures from this series. Let's get him out of here and let's take a look at the Headmaster. Caliburst. Simple repaint of blowpipe. And then fold him up to look at his head mode. I love the colors of the head mode. So there's that. Okay, totally forgot, but here is Sandstorm in his helicopter mode. And he looks... I think helicopter mode is where this figure still shines. Color-wise, it's not all that different. And then you take these, tab them in to the ports here. Could be a little tricky if you don't know what you're doing, like I do sometimes. And then take the peg, plug it into the thing, and now you've got that, and then you plug that in right here. In the chest cavity for robot mode. Now he can drop whatever he needs to rescue and grab it. But yeah, I'll say this version of the tow line is a little harder to get out than the original. So let me wind this back up. Okay, and then snap that back together. For comparison, in vehicle mode, where'd he go? Right here. Here he is with Slugslinger. See how they look together. They look really great together in vehicle mode. Now we can take the cockpit and open it up. You would think it'd be up here, but for some reason it's back here. And we will sit down Caliburst, plop him inside, and boom. Now he's flying. And then you're going to take the gun, which I love the gun. Focus. The gun can also split down the middle. And you can plug it into the ports here on the wings. Plug in. There you go. So now he can fly and shoot things. Or you can do the Titan Master thing. Take him out. I'm going to bring his arms out. And you're going to plug him into the ports here on the back end of the gun. Now you're going to plug the gun into this port. Now you've got Caliburst piloting this thing. I always hated that. It stays like this. So that is vehicle mode. Now let's get these guys into their robot modes. Alright, so we're going to start with Sandstorm in robot mode. Bring it a little more. And he looks way better than the original Legacy Sandstorm in terms of the paint apps and the obvious new what Hasbro calls the handsome face, because this is the face of how he looked in the cartoon. I'm glad I held out and didn't buy one of the upgrade heads that was available online. But he looks really good nonetheless. The orange looks a lot nicer, especially the darker orange. On the original figure, it looked very, very like an orange red instead of just a darker shade of orange. It doesn't look like they've fixed the whole chest tab situation. So you can just still pull on that and his chest won't tab in perfectly. But yeah, articulation wise, let's get his head out of here a little bit. His head's on a ball joint. You can do a full 360 up and down, and due to the transformation you've also got a hinge here at the neck, which loves being knocked out of place. Hold on. Arms can do a full 360. They can go in and out. You do have a bicep rotation. Got double jointed elbows. You do have a wrist rotation. It's a very tight wrist rotation. You do have a limited waist. Hips can go forward. They can only go back that far. They can go in and out. You have a thigh rotation. You have a decent knee bend. The foot can hinge back and forth, and you've got side-to-side ankle tilt. So he can still get pretty poseable. If you pose or pull his chest out a little bit away from his torso, you can use more of his head rotation. So let's give him his weapons. His big blaster. And I like to plug this little one into his wrist. And there. You could still give him this to hold in his hand if you want. Like so, it's a snug fit. What I recently found somebody do, unpeg the propellers and pull them out, and then just slide these down back there and keep that up, and there you technically have all his stuff stored on him. So there's that, but I don't display him with this thing anyway, so it goes into the bin of accessories that don't get touched. So there is Slugslinger, or yeah, Sandstorm I mean. Now let's get to Slugslinger. So here he is in his robot mode, without his head, obviously, because we got to try out Headmaster compatibility. So here's Trigger Happy. You can see he don't look bad. Definitely doesn't match color-wise. Now let's put the Headmaster proper on here. Okay, so plug him in, and boom. There you have Slugslinger proper in his robot mode. And he looks really good. I think Slugslinger, design-wise, was my favorite of the Decepticon Headmasters, or the Decepticon Target Masters from Titan's Return. I mean, Trigger Happy was an awesome figure, and Slugslinger is no different. So, get that out of the way. Bring him in. Good look at his robot mode head sculpt. Very nice. Very Slugslinger. And you kind of, I don't know how you can see that. Right here, there's like this weird oval around his mouth. It's not even that noticeable with the silver paint apps, but it was very noticeable on the older figures. And he does have wings sticking out. I wish these could have rotated up or something, but I just angle them back to get them out of the way. Oh, yeah. Articulation-wise, his head's on a ball joint for that Titan Master rotation. For that Titan Master rotation. Arms can do a full 360. They can go in and out here. So he kind of knocks himself in the neck. Bicep rotation. Elbow bend. Inward moving wrist due to transformation. And you can count this as arm articulation, I guess. Waist. Hips can go forward, back, in and out. Thigh rotation. Phenomenal knee bend. And no ankle tilt. But that's what you get for a figure from 2015, 2016. So, yeah. You can give him his gun in this big old configuration that resembles his Target Master. Or you can split it up and dual wield, which is cool. Or you can do neither. And if you have a Caliburst from Siege, boom, you've got yourself a Target Master. Thankfully for me, I had a Caliburst. This isn't the original retail Caliburst. This is the one that came with the Sparkless Seeker. But I made it somewhat closer to... And I popped his hand off. Ugh! Hold on. Okay, so let's try in this hand. So if you would just happen to have a Caliburst from Siege, you're better off because you've got his Target Master. So, for comparison with Slugslinger, hold on, I gotta put this now back in his hand too because this is how I display them. Here he is with the, get in your hand with the Titan's Return Trigger Happy and the Siege Blowpipe. As you can see, the team's looking great. Don't fall, camera. I don't know why I did that. Bad camera. I do have Siege Aimless, but I have no misfire, so waiting on them to find a way to reissue Misfired so I can complete the trio. And then let's bring in Sandstorm. You see how they look together. And they look great. It's a nice set of weird pairing. That's the weirdest thing about these Hasbro box sets. They always find such a weird pairing of characters to do. Never in a million years would I thought Slugslinger versus Sandstorm. But it is what it is. Get back your gun. Okay, bring this back in here. So if you want to dual wield his guns, you can. But, yeah, overall, I think this set is pretty cool. It was a nice way to... I originally wasn't going to get this. Because I saw the listings and it's like, I don't need another Sandstorm. I already got my good Sandstorm. But then they whammied me with Slugslinger. That was like, okay, maybe I do need to get this. Because I love the Titan's Return Decepticon or Decepticon Target Masters. These two were the trio of them, Slugslinger, Aimless, or Trigger Happy, and Misfire, were like some of the best figures that came out of the Titan's Return line. Sandstorm was a pretty good figure. He still has some problems that I wish would have been corrected on this figure, like the chest tab again properly. His hips not to feel so... I mean, they're not doing it now, but they kind of got a little rattle to them. His head, we've had a little more clearance for posability. But Sandstorm is still a good figure. But to have Slugslinger was just an awesome bonus. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think of this set down in the comments below. Otherwise, this has been the review of the Transformers Age of the Primes Wreck and Doom Collection Sandstorm versus Slugslinger. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys later.